Good afternoon. The regular meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety of Connersville, Indiana is now in session. I would ask before we start that you all please turn off your ringers on your cell phones and your electronics. We will begin by saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will lead it. Would you all stand, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We want to welcome everyone here today, both at home and here in the meeting. And we will start with roll call, please.
Brian Dobb.
Present.
Mike Bishop.
Present.
David Nutty.
Present.
Jim Barrett.
We have everyone here for a forum, so we're ready to go with that. You all have in front of you the meetings from the last meeting of the Board of Works. I hope you all went through them and read them. Is there any changes, modifications, or suggestions, what have you? If not, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the meetings. They have been approved. Getting into new business, we have on item A, approval for a road closure on Indiana Avenue for basketball sectionals by Brent Duncan. Sir, would you please come to the podium? Just give us a brief.
Sure. Brent Duncan, Athletic Director at Connersville High School. We're hosting the boys' basketball section, I think for the first time since 2006.
Great.
Obviously, we don't have enough parking, so in the past, we've used between 19th and 20th on Indiana Avenue to park our visitors and their buses. Any given time, there could be up to 8 buses, and we just don't have any place to put them. So we'd like to shut that down after school's been dismissed on March 3rd, March 4th, March 6th, and of course, Saturday, March 7th is the championship game. Sometime after 4 to 4:30 until we're ready to depart from the games and the buses are to leave, so.
Chief,
So after school through the end of the day of them 6th?
Yeah, 3rd, 4th, 6th, and then, of course, obviously 7th is Saturday, so we'll have games on each of those 4 nights. There'll be one
what's
game on the
time
3rd.
again? I'm sorry.
First game on the 3rd will start at 7, so if we get the kids out there by 4:30 or so. Buses, I'm going to assume are going to start showing up about 5 to 5:15. So if we can have that kind of blocked, and I'll have guys out there to watch it and monitor it, so. And then on the 6th, it might be a little bit earlier because games start at 6, or on the 4th, so they could get there by 4:45 to 5 would be the latest they would
So
show
it's
up.
best to just leave it closed the entire day as opposed to...
Yeah, because there'll be buses parked down that street, and however we can get them, all of them down one side, that'd be great, but they might park them double abreast.
We got to make
Just-
sure. Chief Bolus, do you have a problem with that?
Absolutely not.
Have you
In fact,
talked to
that
everyone?
probably helps out.
Yeah.
Are you good with it?
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a problem or issue with it?
Feel free for keeping contact with him. So.
I got
Is
his
it,
number.
is it just the one block on each?
Just 19th and 20th on Indiana.
Okay.
We're going to use the church parking lot for my people, and the back parking lot on the north side of the building. So,
Good arrangement.
Darrell, I'd like for you to, I know you will make a comment about that in the paper, please. I will take a motion to accept this request.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. This approval to close the road on Indiana Avenue for basketball sectionals has been approved, sir.
thank you, appreciate it
Thank
very
you.
much.
Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Good luck, yes. The next item is approval for a bucket drive, March 14th for senior council by Stephen Beckman. Is there anyone here to speak to that? No one here? Okay, we'll move right along. The next one is approval for a bucket drive for the American Cancer Society by Bertie McKenna. We don't have to if we cancel it. We've never done it before.
I'm Bertie, and I'm with the American Cancer Society. This is my 15th year, and we have a boot drive.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're going to, I've talked to the lady in here about having it the 20th of June, and we have it from 8 till 2 o'clock, and we have it at 6th and Grand and 24th and Grand.
Are you good with that, Diane?
Yes.
Yeah, we get all of our barricades and everything from the city to put up, you know.
You said 6th and what other street? 6th and
24th.
Grand? 24th and Grand?
Yeah, and 24th and Grand.
I would just add one thing, Bertie, that you make sure you comply with the safety part of this.
Oh,
with the
yeah, we
safety
have our
cones and
little
wearing the
vests
vest.
on.
Yes, ma'am.
Good
And you
idea.
can You can pick those up at the street department if you don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We've-
Okay.
This is about our 10th or 11th one.
Yes, ma'am. All right, we have a request for a bucket drive by Bertie McKenna. I'll take a motion, please.
I do have some questions.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, excuse me.
We actually have a boot drive because I got pink and purple boots.
That's fine.
So,
Can I ask you a question, ma'am? Would 18th and Western be a better location than 6th and Grand? Because 18th is a four-way stop. You might be able to get more participation out of 18th and Western. The road is about 4 foot wider.
18th and Western.
Right in front of Wolf's Gun Shop would be the, southeast corner of the old D&M building?
I'm kind of a creature of habit. We've always had it at
I think
24th
you- well,
and Grand.
yeah, that's-
And it is a four-way stop there, you know, or two-way. And we have always had good luck there, and we have had no accidents. And
Only thing, I'm not trying to stop you, so don't take
Yeah.
me wrong. I just think that that's a safer intersection,
But-
moving forward even.
Yeah.
So maybe even consider it maybe next year, because
I'll think about it, but
The only thing I would caution you is I've stood at those boot drives and the one there by the fire department. If they get a run on the green light, just make sure you watch them because they go
Yes.
through there flying.
Yeah.
That's why I would be concerned with 18th.
people are very courteous to us when we're out there and we got our
Okay.
jackets on.
yeah.
Anyone
I was
else?
telling the gentleman, I done it for 5 hours out there at 6th and Grand with
Okay.
this walker. No horns honking, no nothing. I mean, everybody was sitting and they'd say, someone's behind you, and I'd whirl around and get them, you know. And people are very courteous,
Very good.
Okay, that's
very
fine.
generous in Fayette County.
That's
They are.
fine. Anyone else have anything? Anywhere? I'll accept the motion, please.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval for a bucket drive to the Cancer Society. Motion has been approved, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Now, did they have me down also for the luminaries on Park Road?
No, ma'am.
I told her, if we done them both at the same time last year,
And there'll be a public forum coming up, soon, and you could discuss that at the
get
public
back on
forum.
it again?
Yes.
Okay, because we have, we set them up there last year. It was
Yeah.
very successful
You
along
can
Park
bring that up
Road.
later. You have plenty
Okay,
of time.
then I'll get back on the agenda,
Okay.
getting that one done.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for
Thank you.
this
Thank
one.
you.
Diane thinks that Mr. Beckman, is that his name? She
Yeah.
thinks he should.
Is there a Mr. Beckman here?
No? Okay.
Okay. All right, the next item is approval for work to be performed in the right-of-way of 1941 Virginia Avenue. Sir, please come up and state your name and,
My name's Rick Fisher, and I'm with BSM Groups, and we're representing Comcast. We'd like to extend their plant underneath West 20th Street to the hospital.
and what all does this entail?
Just boring under the road from the riser pole that's on the north side of West 20th Street through the parking lot to the hospital.
Is this anything that's going to interfere with traffic?
No. We're going to set up in the alleyway.
Okay.
I don't know, do you have this?
Yes.
Yes.
And he's, okay, and utilities has been in
I was
conference
going
with
to
him.
ask that. I just didn't get to it. You've talked to all the office heads, I presume?
I believe so.
Okay. Anybody have any questions, concerns?
The only concern I have is what we're looking at. I was gonna address it a little bit later on, but do you have a certificate of insurance that you could supply to Brad or to the
We
city?
can get it to you,
We need
yes.
that.
I don't have it
We need
right
that.
now, but we will definitely get it to you.
Okay, we need that listed, Connersville as the certificate holder, please.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion that's been approved for your work on 1914 Virginia Avenue.
Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
Please abide by all safety rules, okay?
We definitely
I'm sure you
will.
do that. This one, the next item is approval for a tree removal in the city right-of-way on Lee Street. Is there anyone here to talk to that? If there isn't, I will speak to it. Duke Energy has requested to take a tree out in there. They want to do some work. And if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, Diane, but they're going to be responsible for tree removal and all the debris and all the pieces of wood. It will be clear when they finish.
The pieces of the wood are gonna be taken by the neighbor on
Okay,
the adjoining
that's fine.
property. They'll remove the brush and the limbs.
I couldn't tell in that picture how high the stump is gonna actually end up being. Is it something that's gonna be,
They said as low to the ground
They'll,
as
they
possible.
may take, will they
According
bring
to
a
her-
stump removal in and take it out, maybe?
said they would cut
According-
it closest to the ground as possible?
Right,
That's on this
so
right there.
whatever that is.
Well, I wasn't sure if that, because I noticed on the, where the picture was, it looked like there was a landscape come down, like the side of the yard came down. I wasn't sure if that was built up on the sidewalk too.
Well, there's no sidewalk in that area.
Okay.
Okay, since there's no one here to speak of it and Duke has to do it, I'll accept the motion, please.
Mike, hand it.
I saw that. Can I have a second, please?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. We have approval for the tree removal in the city right away on Lee Street. You got a question?
No, thanks, Dave.
The next one item is award quote for fixed assets on service analysis. Who's going to speak to that? Anyone?
I did talk with Rosemary, our clerk treasurer, about that, and she does not have a preference on either one of those. This is what was given to us at the last
Yeah.
meeting, and she does not have a preference. So with that, one bid is 4,000 something,
I
and,
have it.
I mean, 8,000 something, and the other one's 12. So if she has no preference, I would go with the lower bid.
I didn't see anything outstanding that was different. You know, one bid was different from the others. One had more language in it, but they really said the same thing. Did you see anything?
I
Anybody
didn't,
else?
I didn't see, it was basically word verbatim, wasn't it, Dave? And I didn't bring, I got it, but I don't want to dig it out.
Yeah.
It's just a cheaper cost.
I'd make a motion to go with Asset Control Solutions.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to award the quote to Asset Controls for the service analysis. Moving right along, we have a request for approval of contract with Blue and Company. And do you want to speak to that?
Okay.
I think this is just on software, isn't
For
it?
Medicare reimbursement.
Yeah.
For the Medicare reimbursement?
It's for the first aid unit.
First aid, yeah.
Flatline.
Now, this is different than the billing service. This is recuperating Medicaid monies.
I don't have any notes
That's
on
all
it, so
right.
no, I do not.
Does anybody have any questions about it? I've read it, I'm good with it.
I am too.
Question, this is something we've done in the past.
Yes.
To my knowledge, yes.
Yes.
Make a motion to accept.
Thank you. Have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Been a motion and second to approve the contract with Blue and Company. Moving right along, we'll go into department matters. The Utilities and Street Department, Director Brad Colder, Mike Bottomley in training. And by the way, I want to apologize, I should have said this earlier. I'm setting in for Mayor Frank today because he is in training and will be all week. So, Brad, go ahead, I'm sorry.
First thing, I need to get an approval for trash collection for the business H&R Block at 2024 North Park Road. Get that out of the way so I don't forget about it.
Is that on here? It doesn't matter, but it's not on here, right?
It's probably not on your agenda.
H&R Block, what's the address on that?
2024 North Park Road.
And this is customary.
Yes.
right?
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I'll accept a motion for that, please. Second, anyone? Thank you very much. Request been approved. Go ahead.
I told you I asked you at the last meeting for permission to hire one employee at the street department to replace Elmer and 2 at the utilities to fill positions. You gave me that permission, so I've got 3 people to bring before you today. I asked them to come so you could get a look at them.
Okay.
So,
Ask them to step up to the podium.
deal with the street department first, Travis Smiley, if you come up here. He's got the appropriate licenses and experience.
Oh, very
He's
good.
plowed snow, and drove about every kind of vehicle, and I think he'll fit right in
Now,
over there.
these gentlemen have already been hired?
I'm asking you to hire him right now.
Okay.
So this is for the position at the street department.
And this is part-time?
This is full-time.
Full-time, I'm sorry.
To replace Elmer
Replace- okay.
that passed away.
I got
And may I have his name again?
Travis Smiley.
Thanks, Travis.
Does anyone have any questions, concerns? It needs
no.
to be done?
Sounds like Brad's asked all the appropriate questions. We need a driver and a trained person.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Welcome.
He'll get right in the trash truck and start training first thing in the morning, so
Your motion has been approved and accepted.
bud.
Thank you and welcome.
stick around.
Be
for a few
safe.
minutes. Don't run off. Yes, sir. So at the utilities, we have two,
Go ahead.
and one of those is Matt Watkins. Matt, come up here. He's worked for us at least two or three summers, so
Matt Watkins?
we're familiar with him. He's been working at the gas company. He's good. He's a good boy.
Okay.
We know him pretty well. And then the other one is Brandon Himes. Come on up here. He's, again, got the right licenses and experience. Young feller, and I talked to both these fellers quite a bit, and I think they'll both be good ones for us, so.
Good, good.
That's
I'm
great.
sorry, I missed Brandon's last name. for
Himes.
my notes. Thank you.
And so Brandon will start on the water crew. That's where we have an opening, and Matt will be on the maintenance position, on the maintenance crew helper.
Anybody have any questions?
No, other than, this young man has worked there in the past, as you said, and
Yeah.
been good.
We won't even have to give him the tour. He
He
can
already
probably
knows
give
what
the
every
tour.
place is and how to do things, and we welcome both of you. And as you know, Brad, I'm really a proponent of further education. So if these guys would be interested in that, I think that'd be a good thing.
If no one has any questions, I'll accept a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thanks.
guys.
Congratulations, guys, and welcome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome. Be safe.
You have seen you've got the annual and monthly reports from the street department in your packets.
Yes. Do you want to talk?
Those are
about-
pretty concise, small reports. We'll maybe get a little more detail in those in the future. Those were compiled over last year by the previous superintendent. So if you have any questions about those, give them to me and I'll ask somebody that knows the answers for you.
All right, will do.
Also, we had an inspection recently, January 9th, on the compost site, and I've got the certificate of where we passed the inspection down there with flying colors for another year.
What was, I'm sorry? What
At
is
the
it?
compost site.
Yes.
So we're good for another year.
Who does that, IDEM or EPA? Or?
Indiana IDEM Waste Compliance Section. Yeah, I think last year we had to do some drilling there to see where the water table was that I helped Darrell with, and it's, we didn't have to do anything. He just came down and looked at it.
Good.
You've also seen the report. Mike compiled this report for the utilities for last year.
Yes, it's very good and very thorough.
It's pretty detailed. If you have any questions, either now or anytime in the future, holler at us.
Very nice, appreciate that.
There's a lot of detail in that, and it's very time consuming.
You
I
can
appreciate it.
spend a little time reading that one, can't you?
Yes. Yes, you have anything else?
Wanted to tell you that Brian and I spent a little time taking the nickel tour of the utilities yesterday, and any of the rest of you that would like to go look at things with me or Mike or whoever, just let us know. I wanted to tell you that I've been evaluating the street department, learning a lot. I
Good.
spent about a half hour apiece talking to each one of the employees over the last month, getting their ideas and thoughts of what they,
Good.
and we're looking into what that department does, what we should continue to do, maybe some things we should look at doing differently. And over the next couple of meetings, I'll come to report to you. Ask your blessing to maybe change some of the practices over there.
One thing I would like to ask of you, please, once you get into this, is I would like to know, and I'm sure I speak for the board here, the condition of the trucks that we welded the cabs back together on. I do not have a warm feeling about that at all, but that's just my opinion. safety's first naturally. And I was assured that it was okay, and then one of them broke. So would you please?
The garage over there is one thing we're looking at real close, and I haven't had time to do it yet, but I intend
I
to,
understand.
try to get all the vehicles together and inspect them and lay my eyes on each one of them and see what kind of shape they're in. And
And to add to that, if you think we need in the future to purchase a new truck, please don't hesitate to get that data together and bring it to us so we can study it and figure out if we've got any money or what have you. And I'm sure you're going to do that, but I'm just adding it in there because I do have a grave concern about that.
Okay,
Please, okay?
give me a little time
No
to
problem, no problem.
look over some things over there, and I'll be
I'm
getting
sure
back to you pretty
Chad will
quick.
want the same thing.
That's all I got.
Anybody have any questions?
If you haven't spent some time with Brad before taking that nickel tour, Dave, I'm sure you're well aware of it, too. But I don't know if Jim has, but it's very informative, you know what I mean? At least, showing you what I asked for in the last meeting is to be able to look forward, 6 months here down the line. And, we went through some of those things that he was looking at, and I could see, his words are justified on what he wants to do. So,
I think it's good to go to every
It
department.
is.
I think it is.
I have, I've done
Yes.
it, and it's interesting. Very interesting if you've never been there before.
We got a lot going on right now. If I miss a day going somewhere, I'm missing something, because there's a lot of construction and things that we have
That,
to work,
that
so.
brings up a key point. If you haven't toured these facilities, it's an eye-opener to see what these people really do. They don't just ride around in a truck or a vehicle all day. They've got assignments and they've got jobs to do, and they have to get back and forth to do it. But it's the same way with the police and the same way with the fire department, and I credit all of them for it. Anyone have anything
Well,
else?
speaking of construction, how far along is John Street?
It is about 90% finished. We're waiting on the controls to be installed. I'm pretty sure the building is here. It's not on site, but when the controls are put in, they'll set the building over top of it and pretty much be ready to fire it up,
Very good.
hopefully in the next maybe 2 weeks.
Okay, great.
Brad, do you have any upcoming projects or bids that you're working on, that you're in language with right now?
Yes. I reported to you last month, I think, pretty much where we are. I'm working on designing this project on 7th Street that will make improvements to Water Street Lift Station. I asked you last meeting if we could apply for an Okra grant for a water main rehab, and we are knee-deep in that already because we have to meet a deadline here in a month or so. So,
On the future, I'd like to be able to see in any contract, this board would have to vote on this, but not to exceed amounts, like as we discussed. Just to make sure the language is in there without, I'm not saying that things happen and we might have to be able to pay some extra money, but if there's a not to exceed, we know we're not going to exceed that. Some people have a certain percentage amount, but we need to maybe
Okay.
put that in there, just food for thought.
all righty.
One quick question. The area up in, is it Deer Trail up there where they went down through the middle of it? Is that completed? Are we done with that?
The project in the back is,
Yeah.
I'm still working with one resident that there was a drainage problem in front of his house where we partially rectified that, and we have a little more work to do.
But the outside contract work, that is done, correct?
What we had, McFarland's
Yes.
fixed the tiles and all that's finished.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. Anything else?
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, Brad.
Next item on the agenda is the Connersville Police Department. Chief Bolos, please. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right, a couple things. With myself and Captain McCurry being appointed, we had some opening in our positions of captain. Right off the bat, it would be our captain. So I guess what I'm asking for is that we are allowed to appoint Lieutenant Hamilton to the captain, replacing McCreary. You guys have a copy of all that, I'm sure.
Yes, we do.
It's just a lateral movement. It's a position that came open because McCreary came out.
Okay. Anyone have any questions or concerns?
None.
Motion to approve the chief's request.
We have a
Second.
second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Your request has been granted to propose.
Okay, also, with moving him up, that leaves us openings for our sergeant and our lieutenants also. So I'm just requesting at this time to be able to fill those two supervisor positions. And, you know, we interview, right now I've got a letter out that, you know, whoever's interested lets me know that they're interested, and I'll interview them, and we have a review board that goes through, you know, whatever they go through, discussing of however many guys. It might be 2 or 3. There was 3 that went up for the captains, and the review board goes through and decides, and that's made up of several officers, some retired officers, and they make an educated on who they recommend to take that position. So we'll follow that same process when we fill the sergeant and lieutenant spot also.
Diane, do we need to table that until he gets the names, but have a motion for him
I
to go ahead?
can come back and with the names if you
If
want.
it's
you're
not
asking
necessary.
permission to do so.
Right,
I
he's
would-
just asking
I
for
would-
permission to do
Yeah, and then you'll
so.
be back
I'd
to
make
the
that-
board for the approval of.
At the next meeting? Okay.
Sure.
And I'd
Yeah.
make that motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second.
So-
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
All right. Also, one of our officers is getting ready to retire in March. He's a detective, Officer Detective Wilcox. And that position isn't something that you can just throw somebody into. You know, it requires some background. Rick will be there to help him with some cases he's already currently on. So it's not a position where you can just, once he retires, and we can just replace him easily.
Yes.
So I am also requesting permission to fill that vacancy also, start that process. And we handle it the same way as we do any other, the sergeant, lieutenant, captain.
Okay. I'll take a motion on that. I guess we have to have one, don't we?
So moved.
I'll bring him back also, whoever we decide on, I'll
That's
bring him
fine.
back in.
Okay,
So
second.
All approved, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty.
All right, the next item is, we have obviously a part-time, with 3 part-time officers, and we try to utilize them as much as we can, or as much as they can. So most of it's, hopefully, is during our overtime periods. But these guys, the 3 that we have, are obviously full-time policemen. So they can't take a lot of it, really. They are contacted when we do have scheduled overtimes. We contact them, and they see if they can fit it in their schedule. Because they don't get to choose which shift it's on, so it might be an issue with them of what shift we have that's open. So I'm asking that we be able to hire an additional part-timer, just kind of evens the odds a little bit, who is Dennis Perkins. He retired from here, he's Reed's security officer, and he comes to all our training, so he has what's required yearly. And he keeps it up with Reed also. So I think we can use him in several areas, actually, you know, maybe some ordinance stuff and, you know, obviously some overtime. So I'm asking if we could go ahead and hire him as a part-timer.
I love the direction you're going with what you're saying on this piece of paper. I do.
And and he's compensated only the times that he works.
Only the time he's
No
working,
other-
yeah.
He's not paid to be
There's no
on
friend.
call or anything
No,
like that.
no.
There's no fringe with that either, is there?
None.
Just a salary, right?
Just a question, how many hours a week a month does your part-timers get?
Depends.
Yeah.
Do they ever work over 20 or 30 hours?
No,
a week?
uh-uh.
They don't?
Yeah, we don't let them work over that a week,
Okay.
yeah.
Does Dennis is he not available one shift or another? Does he open for preference?
Yeah, I'm not sure how their hours work or what his exact hours work,
Well,
'cause,
you can't call that till you see who's gonna give you their names to do it, right?
yeah, I know he works different times. Sometimes he's working at night, sometimes he starts in the morning. I don't know what his hours are. So if I have something coming up, then I can sure ask him, you know, and see if he's able to do so. And if he's not, he's not, you know, that's just how all them part-timers work, and
Okay.
so,
Which is a reason to have 3, so you can
yeah,
have a better chance of getting someone.
Right.
correct.
Any other questions? Not, I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Sorry, I haven't been using the gavel.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
mention to you that what I do like a lot, and all other departments, I ask that you do the same thing. Anytime there's going to be advancements, or hiring, or retiring, anything that goes through our approval, I like letters, as you did, and just explaining it. So any other department who has hires, retires, change in rank, whatever, please have a letter to us so we can look at it. And thank you for doing that.
Well,
Go ahead, Chief.
all right, lastly, myself and the mayor spoke on several occasions about vehicles. As you can see in our lot next to the police department here, we have several vehicles, 10-plus years old. We've gone through them all. They've just been sitting there. They're not assigned to anybody. And they're, in my opinion, and several officers' opinions, that they're not roadworthy any longer. I have a list of 7 vehicles back there that doesn't even get moved. And in the past, we've used some local auction that when, they'll advertise and sell those vehicles for us. So I'm asking that we can take that process and clear that lot some.
Could this be any auction, or has to be a sheriff auction?
Any on these, yeah. These aren't a sheriff's auction.
Do you bid it, or how do you do it?
Actually, we used Coon's auction
Yeah.
last, and, he'll
That's what I
advertise, and
figured.
the public's open to that, so they'll have,
That's a
anybody
great
can go and
idea.
bid on them.
Do you have a mechanic strip it of,
We strip it of
Yeah.
police emblems or lights or radios or,
All the bells and whistles
yeah,
comes off.
everything
Yeah.
comes off.
anything that would identify it as
Right.
Conoco?
Other than the paint.
Right,
It'll be black and white, or whatever color it is. It'll stay that.
okay.
One thing I would like to request, if it's possible, when you sell those police vehicles, could you take the spotlights off of them?
The spotlights?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah,
I see a lot of playing with those for people who buy those cars.
Yeah.
And it gives people the influence that they are police officers. It's a benefit to us because they think they are, but it could be blinding. Okay, any other questions or concerns?
Randy, I want to thank you for being very proactive on this as well.
Yes.
Because I know Chad and I were working on the insurance side of it, and to know that you were already well past me, on this, I thank
and I've got a list for it. I don't know if Chad has given it to you.
Not yet, I don't
Okay.
think, but, we've got some meetings coming up that I'm sure
Yeah.
that we'll be able to, share with that, but,
Absolutely. And just so just for your visual, that's just some of the vehicles that we have back there, and I'll just get them after the meeting.
That's fine. Okay, any other questions, concerns? All in favor to sell some of the police cars to
Did
public
we make a
auction?
motion already?
No, I didn't, did it?
Oh,
Make a motion, we approve the chief's request.
then I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate
it.
Yeah.
Fayette EMS, Chief Clint, please. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm all right, yourself?
Good, thank you.
All right, so I believe you should have a letter from paramedic Karen Lee. She is wanting to retire. She has been with the city for 24 years, and she probably had a career before that. I don't want to speculate as to how long she's worked, because I don't really want to get on her bad side in that regards. But she is, so submitted a letter for her retirement. And I don't know if you want to do this together or separate, but also would like approval to hire a replacement for her.
You all good with doing it together?
You got a person in mind, or you just want to advertise for?
Well, the way we
hire
do it is we have a part-time roster, and we usually try to promote from within our part-time roster. So I have not spoke to the part-time people yet.
Let's do them separate.
And the part-time people, are they paramedics? or EMTs?
Some are EMTs.
So we'd like to try to replace this paramedic with another paramedic?
Yes.
Okay. I think we do need to do them separate.
That's
No,
fine.
that's fine.
We'll do them
However,
separate.
whatever your pleasure is.
Okay, can I have a motion? Any questions on that?
And is there any steps they have to go through when they're retiring to make sure everything's well with the clerk's office.
Yes.
And that's been
Yeah.
done.
Most
or, you know.
definitely, yes,
Yes,
definitely.
yes.
Sorry, and everything.
There's stuff we have
Yes.
to do to terminate, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take a motion if there's no more questions to accept the retirement of paramedic Karen Lee.
So moved.
And second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So then the next would be to hire a replacement. Like I said, I don't have a particular person in mind, and when I do, I'll bring it back before we make anything official. But per the union contract, we try to hire from within. We try anyways.
That's
It's a
yes.
good vetting process for a part-time. They come in, they work, we see how they're gonna do, and then kind of take a consensus of the supervisors and who we want to offer it to. So we'll kind of work through that process and come back with a name for you.
By our ordinances or by the union contract, do you have to publicly advertise that position first?
I don't believe so because we hire from within.
Right.
I may be wrong on that because, you know, I'm a little green here, so I don't believe we
Yeah,
usually
they can
do.
hire From within, I'm sure.
Could you double check, just
Well,
make sure?
I'm
pretty
not
sure.
for you to double check.
And
It
by-
should be in the contract.
And by union contract, it says hire, that part-time employees will receive, I don't think it says preferential, but it said basically that they will be considered
Yes,
first.
it does.
So I believe that may answer your question there. So that would be by the union contract.
I agree with Mr. Barrett. Try to get the most experience. I'm sure he will. That's going to benefit you the most.
And with you finding the most appropriate manner, I would approve a hiring of a replacement for Ms. Lee.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved to hire a replacement.
I got a quick question.
Go ahead, sir.
On
Yes,
this-
ma'am.
On this
Sure.
morning, on this meeting here with department heads, they run through their, the sheet you give the Board of Works that shows what you've done as far as
Yeah.
runs. This is the police department, but basically you get the first aid unit.
Yeah.
They normally tell us what transpired during the month, how much money you've received, that sort of thing. So at the next meeting, as far as department heads, if they could do this when they present it to the board, we'd appreciate it.
And we have a copy of it, so it's not
Yeah.
as much for us, but
Okay.
as the media and for those who are watching the program.
Let the community know what
Yep.
you're doing.
Yep. And I'm working on kind of an expanded report based to kind of break down what we're doing and I can say we did 400 calls.
Well, you
Without
don't wanna
con-
get- you
without
don't wanna get too laid
context.
down with too much paperwork. I mean, too much
Yeah,
information.
but there's some of this I'm doing anyways.
Yes.
We're trying to get on the Indiana EMS for Children organization, request reports. So I'm breaking it down by age of our patients, and it goes down to that
Age and
specific.
type, yeah.
Yep, age, gender, all that within our computer reporting program. It's just a matter of me figuring out which button to push to make it do it. So I am working on that. So you kind of have a little bit more expanded idea of the type of calls we're doing and what we're doing behind the scenes, not just on calls. So,
Appreciate that.
but we'll get that to you probably next month, I'm assuming, so.
I can't find it right, oh, wait a minute, I have something else, hold on a second.
Okay.
I can't find it right in front of me, but one of the things I like to keep an eye on is the expenditures and the revenue coming back in. And I see we're quite a bit in the red right now, about, I won't quote a figure, but I
Yeah.
wanna give you time to get familiar with
Yeah.
that.
And, you know, we're not going to, as a general rule, because of our setup, because of our location, because of our demographics, you know, we do spend more than we make. I mean, it's just
I
the
understand
nature of
that.
the beast. But yes, and we're looking at, I had one, I can give you an example. We had a little, the billing company where we work with, ABS out of, I
Yes.
believe Elkhart, they're wonderful. You talk about people that know their job, they know their job. But we had a little snafu within the computer system as to how calls or run reports were getting routed for billing. We didn't know that when we clicked a certain button, what the ramifications on their side were. So I sent, it was over the weekend, I sent Jim Freeman, who's the owner, I sent him about a 2-page email. I'm like, okay, enlighten me, and we figured out that there's kind of a little disconnect in there. So that's one thing that we've worked on, and where calls were kind of getting put in a dead file. So we've those have been removed, and we're working on a long-term fix so that doesn't happen anymore, because we are on a timeline. If you go past a certain timeline, you no longer can bill for those
Yeah, I know
calls. So
that.
we need to get within, make sure that 100% of our calls are getting billed within the allowable
Glad.
timeline.
That's exactly where I was going.
So there's some streamlines to the process that we're working on. It's just, as everybody knows, I'm kind of trying to get up to speed as we go here. So, but that's on my wall has Post-it notes and what to do, and that's one of the ones on top is billing streamline. So that's what we're working
Transition
on.
is gonna take you a while, we
Gonna
understand
take
that.
me a little bit, but we're working on it, and I've got some really good help, and also I can't thank enough, and Shelley's probably not gonna like this, but her office and Rosemary and all the ladies over there have been just phenomenal, so I cannot thank you guys enough,
That's what we're
so.
all here for, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
Let me mention to you that a previous administration assured us that the transporting or transferring, whatever you say within house, is going to help our bottom line. So just to let you know that myself and most of us will always be watching the overall cost of the, what do you call it, transport or transfer?
Well, we have anything that is, any patient that is moved is considered a transport. What you're referring to, though, I believe is going to be the non-emergent inter-facility type transports.
Right.
So those are the non-911 calls, the one hospital to another calls.
Or from hospital to home to hospital?
Yeah, normally it's hospital to
not
hospital.
emergency?
Yeah, normally it's hospital to hospital. Some of it is hospital to nursing home. We do very, very few hospital to home because of basically the Medicare rules. And I say Medicare kind of sets the broad umbrella for everyone. So if Medicare says this is the rule, then most of the insurance companies will kind of follow along. But those are really hard to get paid. So we have really, those are really in the minority. And we do some, and they do get paid. But we don't do near as many as we did 5 years ago, I know, as an industry, because they don't pay.
That falls right in with what you're gonna investigate.
Yeah, we want to see where our, and there's some that we just, I'm not going to say courtesy, but some we know that we're never going to get it through Medicare. They are too picky, and it's not worth pushing the issue, because the last thing you want to do is get on Medicare's bad side and get with their compliance and audit. You do not want any part of that. So that's one thing that ABS is awesome about, is they keep us. Basically, they keep us out of prison. They make sure that everything is, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted before the bill goes out. So
And we have Blue to go after some of the
yeah,
medication.
that's the what we call a cost adjustment, and that's just on traditional Medicaid patients. So yes,
You can get into those later on.
yeah,
Thank you very much. Anyone have any other questions?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you did.
What's EMS 5 and EMS 6?
EMS 5.
You know off the top of your head? If you don't, I'll get with you later on this week.
I believe, is that on the mileage portion?
Not sure if it was mileage or on the
Yeah.
insurance side or
So
whatever.
we have, used to, there was 3 trucks. When it was 911 only, there was 3 ambulances, and they were EMS 1, EMS 2, and EMS 3. We now have 5 operating ambulances and that are doing different things. So it's probably referencing a specific truck. We're going to go away from that because that's really no longer real accurate. And what you'll see on any reports I give to you guys subsequently will have a 4-digit state certification number that is assigned to us by the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. So it's just a truck designation is all it is.
That's probably the last 4 of the VIN or something like that.
No, it's actually specially assigned by the state.
Will that be located on the vehicle?
It has to be located in, I believe, 4 locations, both front fenders and both rear fenders, I believe. It may be front fenders and rear facing, but yes, it has to be prominently displayed on each vehicle. And
That's fine. When you figure that out, just bring it back to us, okay?
All right.
Appreciate it.
Also, what's the status of the wrecked EMS that was that ours that was going up 40? Do we still have?
That's gonna take.
Yeah, that's.
It was still listed on the report is what I,
The insurance report is
Yes.
what you, yes. So Mayor Frank gave me a list of all the vehicles that we're paying insurance on. There was 11. We actually only have 8. So we went through, knocked those 3 off and possibly 1 more because it is no longer really operable. It's 26 26, 27 years old, and it's now decertified. It's no longer a certified ambulance. I took that off last week because I just don't think it's safe, and frankly, it would cost more money to make that truck run than it's probably worth. So I want to take that one off as well, and probably we'll do something along the lines as the police department, and we'll want to liquidate
That's
that at
fine.
some point.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
I'll
you
get with you
much.
later on this week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you much.
Brian? Good question.
Next item is approval of standard operating procedures for the safe haven boxes, and I believe Chief Troy is going to speak to that.
Yeah, we had one change. Me and Dave went over them, and there was an abbreviation that we asked on the second page,
Thank you.
and that's the only change. It was just to tell you what a NIFRS report is.
You mean just explaining what the acronym is that what?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay,
Stands for National Fire Incident Reporting System.
okay.
That's the only change on the page. We figured that we should put that in there.
Anyone have any questions, concerns?
I met Chief and, what's Tim's position?
Battalion Chief.
Battalion Chief over at Station 4, went over a few questions I had on this. Everything was satisfied. I think it's well-placed and
You know-
everything's gonna go well with it.
I might add that incoming chief, Scott Jones, did this for us. He took the sample protocol that they had, it was 11 pages. We don't need 11 pages, it's a box. So he did a real good job with this.
Okay. Is this will be your last meeting with us? Correct?
I will have a meeting with, will be pretty emotional, it'll be Scott being sworn in,
understand.
and that will be the last minutes of me being chief, that'll be the next meeting.
Okay, anybody have any questions about the safe haven box? If not, I'll accept a motion.
So moved.
Second. Anyone, please?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the Troy.
Thanks, Troy.
Thank you.
Moving into old business. Anyone have any old business they want to discuss?
What about that one?
What about it? Is she on here?
We got the Parks Department yet.
Yeah.
Did I miss something?
No, but it's not on.
It's not on the sheet.
Nope.
Should be E.
Do you have anything you want to speak to? Catherine? Nothing?
Do you want me to talk about?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Do we need a
I
motion?
didn't know if the public would wanna just hear from the Parks Department or not.
Well, it isn't on here, so obviously we're not going to talk about it, I don't guess.
Okay.
How about miscellaneous business? Anyone have anything miscellaneous?
We were talking about annual reports earlier and how nice utilities was. TV3 also gives a excellent annual report.
Yes, they do.
And I appreciate what John and his staff does. We were just talking earlier before the meeting, just how much they do with such a small staff in a small area. And it's just wonderful. And then they go remote often. So we appreciate those at TV3.
That goes back to my point about everyone should take the time to go through these departments because it's very interesting. Get you formalized with what people really do.
Yep.
Okay, moving right along to claims. I will read the claims if that's okay. The grand total for accounts payable is $251,142.98. And for utilities is $473,768.91. Is there any questions or concerns? If not, I'll accept the motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anything for the public forum? No one? All right, I'll accept the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I got a couple things.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I asked
Sorry,
for
we got, just to bring the public and everybody else and you guys up to speed, what we're looking at is we're looking at what the city has in inventory in vehicles. Because looking at insurance, a lot of the insurance that we have on vehicles, for one, like Clint and other people said, that we don't have vehicles that we're paying insurance on. And a lot of the insurance we haven't went through to be able to see if we're paying full comp on, liability on. And a lot of these vehicles could probably get taken down because we're basing it on what the value of the car is and what the deductible is. So if we've got a vehicle that's worth $1,500, but we've got a $500 deductible on it, full comp, that makes no sense to me. So we're gonna take these, the ones that aren't no use whatsoever, we'll get rid of. The ones that we can take down to a liability instead of a full comp, and we're looking at several $1,000s that, we could save on that. We're also looking at.
And that's in cooperation with department heads.
That's,
right?
yes, that's what Chad tasked me with to work on the department heads on this. We've also got, meeting with the insurance company, we've also got, some safety programs that we're gonna want to implement, because IPEP and EMC, who the underwriters are for our insurance company, has, different programs available for us. Now, next year, the year after, and other underwriters are looking at to be able to provide us with insurance, then they're gonna be able to go back and look at all the trainings that we had in different departments, and that might give us a better mod rate, overall. They might bring down some simulators and show some worst-case scenarios that might pop up, but it's train the brain, kind of thing.
Good idea.
One thing that I'm adamant about is we need to be able to have certificates of insurance if it's over a certain dollar amount. If anybody wants, I will not approve a contract on my side. You guys can, on your side, but I won't ever vote for a contract that doesn't have a certificate of insurance over a certain amount that's listed the city as the additional insured. The reason why is because at the end of the year, we're being audited by the insurance companies. The insurance companies won't see the certificate of insurance from other companies, well, we have to pay for that. So we were charged a little bit of money, last year that could have been avoided just by us having a certificate of insurance. Work permits as well. I mentioned to Brad and I talked about this yesterday, that if somebody's gonna be cutting into the street, I think that department head needs to be able to maybe at least get a copy of the work permit. I'll be happy to be able to take care of getting them the information and then spreading out to the other people that's involved, that needs to be involved. But somebody that's working on the trail, for example, somebody that's working on the city, streets, for example, or somebody that's doing anything, that we gotta have that certificate of insurance listed as insured. So.
I think for the most part, most of them do, but it's a good point you bring up.
Well, on the larger contracts, it's in the language. On the smaller contracts, there's question marks, we don't know. So if we implement that procedure to where it has to be in there in the language, then maybe that covers us, long term.
Yes. Anybody have anything else? Thank you, Bob. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been approved to adjourn.